What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review. Finally, long-awaited, well-overdue review of Sinners, man. First of all, man, apologies for this review taking so goddamn long. This movie's been on HBO Max for months now. I think this came out in, like, July, I want to say, is when it dropped on HBO Max. Might have been June. And at first, I was kind of busy with some other stuff. Then after a while, I just kind of forgot about it. Meant to, but never really, actually actually making an effort to make sure, like, I am going to watch this movie on this day. And then yesterday, I was like, fuck it. We have waited on long enough. It's time we finally sat down and watched this goddamn movie. As you guys know, it's going to begin re-release in October. So perfect timing, I guess, to remind you guys and, get you hyped and whatnot. The movie is getting re-released in IMAX in October, so if you guys haven't seen the film already, or you didn't get the chance to see it in IMAX, please do so, because shout out to HBO Max once again. This movie does come with the IMAX footage, which I imagine is the same for the Blu-ray, as well as the 4K release as well. So, yay. The IMAX footage was included in this version of the film on HBO Max, which is always great, man. It's always good when the IMAX footage is included on the home release, the streaming versions of films, man. It's always good when we actually get the IMAX footage. And it looks amazing, I have to say, man, the IMAX footage. But, yeah, man. Now, my thoughts on the film itself, man. Jesus H. Christ, man, this film is fucking incredible, man. I love it. It's not my favorite Ryan Coogler movie. That I will definitely say that goes to the Black Panther films, I would say, man. But this was still an incredible film in its own right, man. This film is absolutely just spectacular, and I just absolutely had a blast while watching it. So let's get started, man. The movie is, of course, directed as well as written by the great Ryan Coogler, and, of course, stars Haley Steinfeld, Michael B. Jordan, Miles Catton? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Wunmi Mosaku, if I'm pronouncing her name right. James Lawson, Omar Benson Miller, and many more. And the plot of Sinners is trying to leave their troubled lives behind. Twin brothers return to their Mississippi hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. First of all, man, the cast is great, man. Haley Steinfeld, she's great, man. She's always great, man. Michael B. Jordan's the twins. Fantastic, man. The dude's always great everywhere, man. Wunmi, I feel like I'm saying this poor woman's name wrong. Who you guys may know, you guys may remember, we Like I Love You, I discovered her through Lovecraft Country, and of course she was in Loki series as well. Every time I see this woman pop up in something, I'm always happy, man, because I loved her in Lovecraft Country, man. So I'm always happy when I see her pop up in a movie I watch. I'm like, hey, yeah, let's go, man. Or when she was in Loki as one of the TVA agents, I was like, hey, my girl, let's go. She on the come up, man, from Lovecraft Country, man. I loved her in Lovecraft Country, so I'm always happy whenever I see her pop up in another movie, because she was so fucking brilliant in that show, man. I'm always happy to see her whenever she pops up, man. She's great as well, man. The rest of the cast, man, is fantastic, man. Lee Jun Lee, if I'm pronouncing her name right, she is great. It's one of the Chinese shop owners that we see earlier in the film. And first of all, she's kind of bad, not gonna lie. She's bad, but she was great, man. The Asian couple as a whole, man, I thought was fantastic, man. Now, the cast, like I said, is already great, man. The music is once again spectacular, man. This movie was composed by Ludwig. I'm not gonna try pronouncing his last name. He did a bunch of other movies. He's done a bunch of other films as well. Oppenheimer, he apparently is also listed on his thing. Both Black Panther films, Tenet, both Black Panther films are listed in here as well, or at least, is it both? I'm looking at his IMDb right now just to refresh memory, or I think it might have just been Wakanda Forever was the one he did, man. He's done a bunch of movies, man. Oppenheimer as well, man. Done a bunch of movies, man. Excellent composer, man. The music in this film is fucking incredible, man. Like, it obviously is very southern in sound with your banjos, and, has that southern, twang to it with the blues and everything, man. It is a banger. It is a banger score, man. The music of this film is incredible. I especially love the theme. I think it's the theme of the movie, the one that goes like, bow, 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 bow. That whole song, man, that plays a few times, which I'm assuming is the theme of the film. It could be another track. I'm not entirely sure, but that song is fantastic, man. I really like that song, man. The soundtrack and the score as a whole, man, is just phenomenal across the board, man. The music in this film is absolutely just incredible, across the board, man. But and also the cinematography, man, oh my god, this film was obviously beautifully directed and excellent cinematography, man. Like, no surprise from a Ryan Coogler film. You guys know how much of a great director he is, man, from the Black Panther films, from Fruitvale Station. I haven't seen Creed 1, so I can't speak on Creed, but I've seen Fruitvale Station and Black Panther, which I think is all his other films he's directed. I think the only one I haven't seen is a Creed one, but I might be wrong there, and he might have also directed some other films that I'm that I'm unfamiliar with. So yeah, the movie's top beautiful, especially when we get to the IMAX footage, man. It's just absolutely just stunning, man. But the film, just when it's like just standard with it's just standard cameras, man, it looks amazing. Like especially this one sequence near the end of the film with the vampires. I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, but that whole sequence near the end of the film with the vampires, if you guys see the film, you guys know what I'm talking about, looked absolutely incredible, man. That sequence was absolutely just phenomenal, man, and it looked absolutely just beautiful, man. The effects work looked pretty good as well, which, once again, that sequence right there, man, great effects, which I'm assuming it was a mixture of, like, CG and practical effects, man. They probably did for certain things, man, but the effects I thought was fantastic, man. Like I said, the cinematography was incredible, man. I love the color grade in this film, man. I don't really know other way to describe it other than, other than vintage looking. Like, it feels like it's filmed and looks like an old school film from like the 70s or something, man. I don't know if they filmed this movie with like a legit film cameras. I think they might have, from some of the stuff I saw in the credits, because they said Kodak was in the credits, which you guys know is a film company, a legit film that you put in cameras and both video and photography cameras, film company. So I don't know if this movie was shot on film, if on legit film, which would explain why it probably looks this way, or if it was shot with digital cameras. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, man, it looked amazing, man. I don't really know how to describe the color grade of this movie, the way it looks, other than just vintage. Like, it just feels and films like an old school film, and I really like that. And the editing is also really good as well, man. I really like the edit of this film, man. It's the best way I can describe it. It's on beat is like the best way I can describe it, man. Like, they're very much in tune with it, man. Like there's this one sequence, around the middle part of the movie where I believe it's Stax with Haley Steinfeld characters are in some different room in the middle of, but right begin to start fucking, while there's some other black woman doing like a little performance, singing a song on the actual stage, man. Like the edit is like in time with the music and everything, man. It's really hard to describe, man, but that's like the best way, because it's very much on tempo. Like I said, I'm not as I'm knocking shit over, but there's no other way I can describe it other than the edit was on beat with the music and everything, man. Like I said, that probably doesn't make no sense unless you watch the movie, man. If you watch, you probably get what I mean, man. I wish I could do a better way of explaining it, but that's the best way I could describe the edit, man. I thought the editing in this film was really great, man. And once again, it kind of goes with the film very much like an old school film, very much like a lot of old school films. There's a lot of cross dissolves into certain scenes, man, which I thought looked nice, man. Very once again going into the old school feel of the film. So this movie takes place the 40s, I want to say, 40s, 50s-ish sort of time period, man, which, as you guys may remember, if you guys did not know, this movie, I forget if there was both the script was a real tooled version of what was going to be the script for the Blade movie before they were restructured, and the movie was stuck in limbo for years, and they looked like they finally have a script and everything ready to actually start beginning filming. I know at the very least the costumes in this movie were going to be in the Blade movie, but then Ryan Coogler got them to use them for Sinners, and it was just a real tool version of that. But I forget if the script as well was a real tool version of what was going to be the Blade script, or it was just the costumes. I forget if it was both of them or just the costume, man. Either or, this movie was connected to Blade with the costumes being reused, man, which looked great as well, man. I thought the suits, especially that both Stax and Smoke wear, man, very nice looking suits, man. And Michael B. Jordan looked amazing in those suits, man. Great suits. But the rest of the costume I thought was great as well, man. But the one thing that I love the most about this film, man, is that you guys know with vampires, one of the rules of it is that they cannot be invited, that you have to invite them into your home. That is one of the rules of the vampire, man, which I think we can all agree is one of the dumbest, stupidest rules for a monster that completely robs them of all their aura, of all their cool factor, and just makes them look like wimps. I remember when I first heard about this rule about vampires needing to be you have to invite vampires in, was in the second Fred movie. Of all things, man. If you guys remember, Fred movies back on Nickelodeon back in the day, man, I actually got the first one on DVD. Shout out to anyone that gets that reference. Years ago, but I don't have Fred 2 or 3 on DVD, but I did watch them when they were on TV on Nickelodeon when they aired. And I saw that within there, man, and I thought that was just a joke for the movie, because, it's Fred, it's dumb. Of course, something that would be a joke. We're oh yeah, vampires, you have to let them in, you have to invite them into your home to let them in. They can't just walk in. It's a whole thing, man. And then I remember when I saw James's it's bullshit episode on vampires, and he mentioned that was a legit rule. I was what? I thought that was just a joke for the Fred movie. I didn't know that was like a legit part of vampire lore, and I always thought it was the dumbest, stupidest shit ever. Like, who came up with that? Was that in the original Bram Stoker's, Dracula novel? Was that whole thing with the whole, like, you need me invited? Like, it's so fucking dumb and just kind of robs vampires of all their cool factor that you have to, like, actually have to invite them in, man. Maybe there's a way, maybe there's a reason for it, and it makes more sense within context rather than you just hear it by itself, man. I'm not entirely sure, but one thing about this movie, I think this is like the one thing this movie excels at the most, is it takes that stupid rule about vampire lore, about them needing to be invited into your home, and actually made it work. Like, if you're actually paying attention, there's multiple times in the film where a character asks to be invited to their home, to be let in, and also that's your clue that, A, they're a vampire. And there's also other scenes where they're trying to discover who is a vampire and who isn't, when them say, like, oh, let me in, hey man, you can let me in, invite me in, all that jazz. And it actually kind of works and kind of builds suspense, man. I'm also kind of shocked Ryan Coogler was able to make that stupid rule actually make it work and not come off as dumb as it sounds about vampires needing to be let in, man. It's really fucking cool how he manages to pull that off, man. And it's really cool, man. That was easily like the one thing I thought was a highlight of the film, and the thing it does that excels, man, was actually making that rule actually work, man. Because it's used brilliantly in the film itself, man. It's used to perfection, man. When distinguishing who's a vampire and who isn't, and building some more suspense with, between, Smoke, I believe, is the character that we follow throughout most of the film, and that's on the poster and everything with the tank top and everything, man. And the rest of the crew that are left in the building while they're fighting against the vampires to build some more suspense in there, man. It's really well done, man. So shout out to Ryan Coogler for that, man. He did a bang up job actually making that stupid rule actually work. Like I said, I don't know if there's actually a reason behind it. It makes more sense in the context of whenever this rule was introduced or whatnot, man. If you guys know, please let me down below in the comments, because like I said, maybe that all makes more sense to me. But I think it's a stupid rule. But Ryan Coogler actually made it work, man, in this film, man. And yeah, the vampires themselves, I think they look great as well, man. With the teeth, man, the blood, we obviously with blood dripping down their face, man. It looks great, man, with like the eyes, they're like blackened, but you see like a yellow dot of light or red or whatever come out there. It looks great, man. The vampires in this film, man, look spectacular, man. I also love this one scene. This was also shot with the IMAX cameras. Like I said, whenever the IMAX cameras are used, it's always looks that scene always looks incredible, man. Where they have like their own little like dance thing going on there, man. They're like whole little concert where everyone's dancing around while Elizabeth playing like some blues music or whatever kind of song they're playing, man. That scene was a lot of fun as well, man. One other thing I want to mention before we get into like my problems with the film, man, is one thing I also love this film does, because like I said, it keeps the IMAX footage, is that it does what you guys know I'm a sucker for. It does the thing where you see the aspect ratio change from whatever aspect ratio the film is shot on normally when it switches over to the IMAX footage, and does the thing where the black bars disappear as the screen starts, as the movie fills up the entire screen, man. You guys know I'm a sucker for that. I always point to the one that always sticks out to me was Hunger Games Catching Fire, when Katniss's master trainer, whatever his name was, gets killed right from her as she's going on the elevator, and you see as she's like coming up back to the top of it, to where the Hunger Games actually start, you see the aspect ratio change to full IMAX, man. That shit has been living rent free since whenever that film came out, man, which I think was like what, 2015, I want to say that was. Maybe it was 2014, because I think the first one came out in like 2012 or something, if I remember correctly, is when Catching Fire, when the first one came out like in 2012, and then Catching Fire came out in 2014, I think. I might be wrong though. Correct if I'm wrong in the comments. Anyway, that moment's always lived rent free in my head, man. I'm like, that's so cool. You guys know Daredevil Born Again did that as well in the first episode, man. I think also in the last episode as well did that aspect ratio change. I don't know if it was actually shot with IMAX cameras, the first episode of Daredevil Born Again, or if it wasn't, man, they just did it because it looked cool. But that looked cool, man. I think Mandalorian Season 2 did that as well, where that was actually shot with IMAX cameras, and did the aspect ratio at the start of Season 2 when they were fighting off against the Alaskan bullworm thing, man. I don't know if Dune did it at all, because I don't think I got to watch either Dune movie in IMAX, I don't think, unfortunately, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, man, so that was really fucking cool, man. It's not as dramatic or as cool as when those movies did it, man. Like, they kind of just do it. There is no like big like, oh shit's about to hit the fan thing like it was in Hunger Games Catching Fire, or in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, or in Daredevil Born Again. But it was still cool seeing it, because you guys know I'm a sucker for that when you actually see it, man. But it isn't as good as when we saw in Catching Fire. It was like, yo, this is insane. But I'm always a sucker for the aspect ratio change to IMAX, man. It always looks cool, but I do wish it was kind of done a little bit better, and maybe like, I don't know, they could have filmed around it like they did with Catching Fire to make it be like, oh shit, you know, like those movies like that did it for me as well. But yeah, as far as negatives I have with the film, man, one is definitely some of the effects don't look good. Like, I'm pretty sure when we see when we see like vampires like start to like burst into flame from the sunlight, I'm pretty sure it's all CG as the flames, and it doesn't look the greatest. Some parts it looks pretty good, but other parts didn't really look the greatest. But my biggest problem with the film is I wish it was longer. I wish this movie was long because it's so fucking cool, man. And more, when I say I wanted longer, I mean because this movie is actually pretty short relatively. Like, the whole movie takes place over one night. That's it. Which, to be fair, I should have expected that from what we saw in the trailers, but for some reason I thought from the trailers, I thought this movie was going to take place over the course of, like, I don't know, a few days or a week or something, but no, it's like literally one night. It's very fast-paced. It's slow to start, but once we get to the actual, like, you know, when they get to the actual juke and the vampires that come in, it's very fast-paced, man. So, and I wish they spent more time with that, man. They extended the runtime a little longer to tell us more about the vampires themselves. Let us learn about their lore, their culture, where these vampires even came from, man. Another action sequence of them fighting some more, because the action when we see it and when they actually do, when the actual like big action sequence where they're fighting off against the vampires, man, we just saw bits of it in the trailer, looks fantastic, man. The whole sequence, which I always saw in the trailer, where we see Smoke with the Tommy gun, that was in the trailer as well. That whole final sequence at the end of the movie, which is just massive catharsis for Smoke. Brilliant as well, man. So the action is really great, man. I wish there was just more of it. We had another action sequence where they were like the vampires fighting off some other people, man. We just learned more about these types of vampires and like what makes them different. Just something, man. I wish this movie was longer. This movie's like 2 hours and 18 minutes. I wish it was like honestly like either 2 hours and 30 minutes, a full 2.5 hours, or hell, make it 3 hours for all I care, man. I just wish this movie was longer, man. We got more because this shit was so goddamn cool. Which I think is the best part you can have with the film is that one of my biggest problems, I wish it was longer. I wish I had more of it, you know? But I wish the movie was longer, man. They expanded more on the vampires, and we have a little bit more action, man, because what we saw of it, man, was fantastic. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, man. Overall, my final verdict for Sinners was actually going to be a 9.5 out of 10. That was what my rating was standing up for most of the film. But when we got to the final sequence with the Tommy gun, man, I was like, fuck it. So my final verdict was going to be a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. As always, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like every day, subscribe if you're new. Follow me if you feel like it. Links are below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. You